What up, though? And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the basement. It's I, John D. N,
Kanika.
aka
You do.
In Too Much Podcast, rescripting the culture one conversation at a time. So I want to start out by truly announcing no, because I know, I want to get ready for the transition where we can look forward
Okay.
toward, because this should be a celebration. This is 4 years that you and I have actively worked on something, and I feel like this should be celebrated, and it shouldn't be like a surprise or anything like that.
Okay.
So we are going to retire this podcast just that I want to be first thankful that she did this with me because she had no idea that I was so serious about this. And I feel like it brought us closer. It showed us that we can work together through tough times because we definitely in the beginning it used to be some verbal fisticuffs where we was like, we will not shoot that one. We will not
cut. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so now to watch where we've gotten, it's a complete blessing. And not only that, our kids have a library information about their parents on what we were thinking about as like parenting them and how to orchestrate and move together in this relationship. And I feel like that's probably one of the best gifts we could ever give because we were just thinking like wouldn't we want like our parents like my father's not here, you know what I'm saying, if he had these tapes I would love to like just to see what he was thinking about, and sometimes I think we take life for granted, and this is like one of those things where I hope that they appreciate it as much as we enjoy giving it to you guys too.
Agreed.
Yeah. So being that we're gonna our anniversary is in the first week, the end of the first week of June, and so it's gonna end around there. But I'm gonna transition into something that I'm thinking about doing. But in these next episodes, we're going to again celebrate my wife and I really creating something that people have come up to me personally and said that they enjoy listening to us talk about things that a lot of married people don't talk about. So I'm happy because that's what we wanted. We just wanted a little bit more information so that we didn't bump our heads so many times along to get to this point. So if we could help that, we're grateful. But what is your biggest takeaway in these last 4 years?
Mm.
Like when you think about the different conversations we've had, what did you get the most? What is your biggest fruit that said, you know what, it was worth doing?
You know, there were a couple of things, but one of the things was there were times where I didn't talk very much. Like when we were younger, John and I would go back and forth. A lot of the times I would just be like, oh, okay. There were a few times we had conversations on tape. Now we do in real life now as I'm a more mature woman, but there were times on tape that we've actually not agreed with something, and we might have left off with whatever feelings or whatever, but I don't like I don't like being on camera, number one. And I don't like how people comment online, not to this particular podcast, but just in general. I think some people could be really, really like unkind. But there have been times on here where you've been able to watch different clips over again, and other people have commented, and then you've come back to me and was like, I didn't realize that I was seen that way. This wasn't what I thought. It wasn't where I was going, but it made you think again. And there were things that there probably wasn't a way for me to convince you of my perspective. Um, but being able to look back at it, hear what people have had to say, and then reflect on it again, I feel like it was really nice to see that sometimes, and I tell John this all the time, sometimes you are not going to be the messenger that's going to make people change their direction. you could drop the seed, the soil may not be ready for you, but the seed is there. And when somebody get that soil right and the seed drop on in there, it'd be good to go. But sometimes, well, in these moments, I wasn't the messenger, but I did see that the message eventually got to you. So it was like kind of living out what I was trying to tell you, because sometimes John has these ideas for the world and he shares them, and some people are just not, what he has to say is always with the intention of helping somebody to live a better life. Better we could define however, but a lot of better for him is conflict free. And it doesn't always fall on receptive ears. And so I always try to tell him, okay, you gave the message, you dropped the seed. Somebody else is gonna have to make it where the soil is ready for it. And I love that through this you've seen that. Number one, like reflecting back on things I felt like maybe I didn't say it well enough. Maybe I didn't, and then you come back to it and you be like, I was thinking this and I didn't know people were thinking that. And that's not what I meant. And then it comes back that you're like, oh, okay. But I think also what's great is in the beginning years, you always felt like you were telling people things, your friends, your family, and everybody was kind of like brushing it off. That's not how it goes. You don't you talking about you that don't have nothing to do with me, blah blah blah. But now it's like people have been able to weeks, months, years later say, we need more of you talking. We need more of what you're saying. And I think that is really, really great. I appreciate that. Um, where it doesn't feel like when John first started on his journey of turning his perspective around on how he addressed people and moved through life, people were so used to, I've told you guys before, he's an extremist. He'd be at one end of the continuum and then at the other end, and people wanted to keep him over here. And when he started talking over here, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you discount people because you know who they were before. Sometimes they may not have the right words because it's all in here. And I know y'all felt that before. It's all in your brain. And you're like, if I could just say it right then, I wouldn't have to argue with people so much. But I think that this opportunity has really, for me to have listened to you so frustrated of not being able to get your words out right or not being heard, and they know my heart. So why are they jumping to this conclusion that this is what I mean? You've grown so much to the point where people are inviting you to conversation now. And they're like, hey, come in and comment on this, or, come and talk to this group or whatever. And I think that those are my two things. I love that I feel like I was being heard. That message part, that seed part, I still got that. Now I can see it from my perspective that it applies to me too, not just you. But the other one is that now your voice is more clear. Your message is more concise, and people are now starting to see that this John is fading away and the more mature one is, and we can listen and trust what he's saying. Because it's hard to get people to trust when you've convinced them that this life is great, and then you come back and you be like, oh, maybe not. But we all have we all get the choice or the option to change our mind. And
For
I don't
sure.
think anybody gives you that option to change your mind. So it was nice. It was nice being able to see the change and see that it's consistent, and people start to pick up on it and say, okay, we could trust that what he's saying now is what he means and he lives it.
You know, hearing it from you, I didn't even look at it that way. I guess I was caught up in the idea that you and I, a number of conversations we've had off camera,
Mm.
and then like a lot of times we try to come up with something to talk about right before so we don't have that much time to think about it so it doesn't look as scripted. But I think I learned so much about you,
Oh.
just you, like, because it's, how they say, I guess a picture's like 1,000 words, or it could be so many things. I was like, but this is it's a whole person over here that does so many things outside of me being around her. I have that many questions, and I felt like I've learned you a lot more. I even know how to talk about things that you don't like to talk about sometimes, that you wouldn't have any time of day before, because the way that I said it, it used to sound like I'm a know it all, or I'm telling you this is what it is and you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I try to take that out of the language.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I noticed that the better my language has gotten with you, the more that you share with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I always just took it for granted. Like, you're supposed to share it with me anyway, because I'm your husband.
Yeah,
Like,
ain't nobody doing that.
no, I see.
Yeah.
It,
But I mean, it depends on if your spouse feels like a safe place. And I didn't know I needed that when I was younger, and I was like, I love him.
yeah.
So you grew into the safe place I needed.
Yeah, I no, to us. I'm in place. It's just I don't know if I'm a safe place yet because there's so many things that I want to know, but I'm not that safe.
Wait, what? What do you want to know? Maybe we need to take this list offline.
No, I'm just saying, like, I know that, like, for example, the other day I try to prep maybe to get her to talk about herself so that I can learn her, and people say they like to talk about themselves, so I tried to do that. And I was like, so hey babe, what's something you've been thinking about that you haven't said out loud? If I haven't said it out loud, I don't want to
I didn't say that.
well, I was like, what? If I ain't said it out loud, I don't want to talk about
Hey,
it.
I was like, and I want to talk about it today.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, that could be I've disclosed a lot. I
No,
mean,
no, no, no,
I
no.
couldn't think of anything. There was nothing that was really like.
No, it was just so right on time. Like golly. But it's still like, I mean, I love the idea that there's so many things. Like I know that we can cohabitate. I know how to make you happy. But I feel like it's the levels of, like, I enjoy waking up knowing I get another crack at it. And I already know what I want to do, but I'm just not in a position to do what I want to do. So it's like I have to be, like, I guess I need to be more creative then to show. That's why. Hey, so how about this? Oh, I have I have dates with her feet again, and I was supposed to do it last night. Oh, but you were sick.
I still am,
Yeah.
but I'm working through it right now. Look, when I say he rubs my feet for me, and it's very nice. And this shows you that kids watch even when you don't know they're watching. So he was rubbing my feet at night before I went to bed, and he stopped for whatever reason.
I got
And
sick and it broke up the routine.
oh, and Dallas asked him about it recently. And it's so cute because to me, I'm like, what kid is sitting there like, why hasn't he been rubbing her feet? But I mean, he pays attention to the fact that his dad cares for his mom and does those little things. Like, I don't feel well today. I was laying in the bed most of the morning, and he was like, do you want a pallet so you could go sit outside in the sunlight, like out in the living room? We have a lot of windows. I'm like, yeah. So he makes the pallet for me. He does rub my feet. He makes sure I have my tea. Like, my tea bags don't ever go down to zero and I not have more there. Like, it's the little things. And I love that Dallas is paying attention and he's like, oh, what? There's a little thing that you ain't doing no more. So what's up? It's a great modeling.
What you just kind of addressed or recognized, that's the type of things that I want all of your day to feel like.
Mm.
Yeah, like to me, like I said, like when things get to where I want it to really get, she's gonna feel it. It's gonna be like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I know that it's gonna take a lot more work, but we're getting there. And I feel like this experience that I've learned you, I hope I do. This is what I hope. I hope this motivates couples that's serious about being in a marriage take this journey. Because I tell you this, if we weren't right here, we would be able to look back and identify what's going on because it's on camera. And then you could be like, why did you respond this way? And you can ask these questions. But, she and I, you know what, if you go back to the beginning, you can see how we had conflicts in
Oh,
some of our prior ones. And we've like I said, we learned to have boundaries on how we spoke to each other, and hopefully this could be like a little blueprint, because not only that, your kids will appreciate being able to look back at their parents intentionally loving each other, because to me I feel like we grew toward each other through this process,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed it. Like, I don't, I mean, like, we, like, even if we did not do this podcast, we were already like talking to each other. I think this just allowed us to learn how to, I guess, converse while people are watching, so it doesn't look like we're just. "Arr."
But I do not like conversing while people are watching.
Yes, and that's another reason why I'm so grateful, because she doesn't. She does not like that, and she gave me 4 years of her life, and
Mm.
I'm that's the great, that's one of the greatest gifts she's ever given me.
Aw.
So we're gonna celebrate again. We got 7 episodes left to give to the world. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's
Like,
been great.
yeah, I appreciate you. Anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No. That's how I usually do it, isn't it? Yeah.
For sure.
I want to give a shout out to. No, I don't have anybody to give a shout out to.
Okay,
No, you gonna have to cut that part out.
that's cool. So I want to give a shout out to all of my students.
Mm.
We are in the last quarter of school, and I'm trying to push them to get as much practice in their subjects as possible, because we know when summertime hits, they will not be practicing any of those subjects. So
They won't.
let's go hard toward the end of the year. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.